Olivia Bennett stared at the eviction notice taped to the glass door of Bennett Books. Her hands trembled as she pulled it down, crumpling the paper between her fingers. 23 years her family had owned this bookstore. 23 years of memories, laughter, and stories shared within these walls. Now it was all slipping away because she could not pay 3 months of back rent. The autumn wind scattered leaves across the sidewalk as Olivia unlocked the door and stepped inside. The familiar smell of old paper and coffee should have comforted her, but today it only reminded her of everything she was about to lose. Her phone buzzed with another message from the bank. She silenced it without reading. "Still here? Fighting the good fight?" Rachel, her best friend and part-time employee, called from behind the counter. Olivia forced a smile. "Where else would I be?" "Maybe at home, resting? You look exhausted." Rachel's concern was genuine, making Olivia's chest tighten with guilt. If the store closed, Rachel would lose her job too. "I'm fine. Just need to figure out how to pull a miracle from thin air." Olivia dropped her bag behind the counter and started sorting through the mail. More bills, always more bills. The bell above the door chimed. A man entered, and Olivia's breath caught. He was tall, impeccably dressed in a charcoal suit that probably cost more than her entire wardrobe. Dark hair swept back, sharp jawline, and eyes that seemed to analyze everything in seconds. He looked completely out of place among the cozy chaos of her bookstore. "We are open," Olivia said, straightening her posture. "Can I help you find something?" The man's gaze swept the store before landing on her. "Are you Olivia Bennett?" Her stomach dropped. Another creditor? That depends on who is asking. "Julian Westwood." He extended his hand. "I own Westwood Technologies." Olivia knew the name. Everyone did. Julian Westwood had built a tech empire before 35. His face appeared in business magazines, always serious, always commanding. She shook his hand briefly, aware of how rough her own palm must feel compared to his. "What brings a tech billionaire to my little bookstore?" "A business proposition." Julian glanced at Rachel, who was pretending to organize shelves while obviously eavesdropping. "Is there somewhere private we can talk?" Olivia hesitated, then nodded towards the back office. "Rachel, can you watch the front?" "Sure thing, boss." Rachel's eyes were wide with curiosity. The office was small, cluttered with invoices and book catalogs. Olivia cleared a chair for Julian, acutely aware of how different their worlds were. He sat with perfect posture while Olivia perched on the edge of her desk. "I will get straight to the point," Julian began. "I need someone to pose as my fiancée for 6 weeks. In return, I will pay all your debts and give you an additional $50,000. Olivia blinked, then blinked again. "I'm sorry, what?" "You heard correctly." Julian pulled out a folder from his briefcase. "I did my research. You owe $68,000 to various creditors. Your bookstore is facing foreclosure. You have no family to turn to, and your credit is maxed out." Heat flooded Olivia's face. "You investigated me?" "I investigate everyone I do business with." His tone was matter-of-fact, no apology in sight. "I need a fiancé to present at several important events over the next 6 weeks. My board is concerned about my public image. Apparently, being perpetually single at 36 makes me seem unreliable and uncommitted." "That is ridiculous." "I agree, but perception matters in business." Julian opened the folder, revealing a detailed contract. "You would move into my penthouse. We would attend events together. You would act as my devoted fiancé. In private, we maintain separate spaces and professional boundaries." Olivia's mind raced. This was insane, absolutely insane. But the number on that contract would save everything: her store, her dreams, her independence. "Why me? You could hire any actress or model." "Actresses and models come with media attention and complications. You are unknown, unconnected to my world, and frankly desperate enough to agree. Julian's bluntness was almost refreshing. You also have an honest face. People will believe our story. Wow, such flattery. Olivia crossed her arms. What happens if people don't believe it? What if I mess up? That's my concern, not yours. You simply need to follow my instructions and play the part convincingly. Julian checked his watch. I have another meeting in 40 minutes. Do we have a deal or not? Olivia looked at the contract, then at the eviction notice still crumpled in her pocket. She thought about her grandfather who started this store, about Rachel who depended on her job, about all the customers who loved this place. 6 weeks, then I'm free to go? 6 weeks, after which you will sign a non-disclosure agreement and we part ways. Julian pulled out an expensive pen. Everything you need to know is in the contract. Read it tonight. If you agree, sign and return it to my assistant by tomorrow morning. He placed a business card on top of the folder. Thomas Chen, executive assistant, with an email and phone number. I will have movers ready whenever you give the word. Your living expenses will be covered entirely. You will receive a wardrobe appropriate for events, and a media coach will brief you on proper etiquette. Julian stood, buttoning his suit jacket. This is purely business, Miss Bennett. Keep that in mind, and everything will run smoothly. Olivia remained sitting as he walked to the door. He paused, looking back. For what it matters, I did not choose you because you're desperate. I chose you because you have something genuine about you, something my world lacks. His expression softened just slightly. I believe you will be quite convincing as someone who cares. Then he was gone, leaving Olivia alone with a contract that could change everything. That night, Olivia sat in her tiny apartment reading every word of Julian's contract. It was thorough, almost intimidatingly so. Separate bedrooms, no physical contact beyond what was necessary for public appearances, all interactions to be documented and professional. A clause about ending the arrangement if either party felt uncomfortable. At the bottom was the payment schedule, half up front, half upon completion, enough to save her bookstore and start fresh. Rachel called 3 times, demanding details. Olivia finally answered. This is crazy, right? Tell me this is crazy. Olivia paced her small living room. It is absolutely crazy, Rachel confirmed. But Liv, this could save everything. You've been killing yourself trying to keep that store alive. Maybe this is the universe giving you a break. By pretending to be engaged to a stranger? By accepting help from a weird place. Look, if he tries anything sketchy, you walk away. But if this is legit, if he really just needs someone for appearances, why not? 6 weeks of your life for financial freedom? Olivia stopped pacing. Rachel was right. This was her chance, her only chance. The next morning, Olivia signed the contract and emailed it to Thomas. Within an hour, her phone rang. Miss Bennett, this is Thomas Chen. Mr. Westwood is pleased you accepted. Movers will arrive at your apartment tomorrow at 9 a.m. A car will collect you at 2 p.m. and bring you to the penthouse. Your first event is Friday evening. Do you have any questions? Just one. Olivia gripped the phone tightly. Is he always this efficient? You have no idea. Welcome aboard, Miss Bennett. This should be interesting. As Olivia hung up, she caught her reflection in the mirror. Her life was about to change in ways she couldn't imagine. She just hoped she was ready for Julian Westwood's world, because something told her that pretending to love a man like him might be more dangerous than any debt she had ever faced.
The elevator ride to Julian's penthouse took 45 seconds, but to Olivia it felt like entering another dimension. When the doors opened directly into his living space, she stepped out onto marble floors so polished she could see her reflection. Floor-to-ceiling windows revealed the entire city skyline, glittering in the afternoon sun. "Welcome home!" Thomas appeared from somewhere, his smile warm despite the formal setting. "Let me show you around." The penthouse was enormous. 3 bedrooms, each with private bathrooms, a kitchen that looked like it belonged in a restaurant, an office with enough technology to run a small country, and everywhere that same cold perfection, beautiful but untouchable. "Your room is here." Thomas opened a door to reveal a space twice the size of her entire apartment. The bed was massive, covered in soft gray linens. A walk-in closet already held clothes in her exact size. Mr. Westwood had a stylist select everything based on your measurements and the events you will attend. Olivia ran her hand over a silk blouse. This must have cost a fortune. Mr. Westwood does not do anything halfway. Thomas handed her a schedule printed on thick paper. "Your media coaching session is tomorrow at 10, hair and makeup trial at 2. Friday evening is the Metropolitan Arts Gala. Mr. Westwood will return home at 6 to brief you." "Does he always work this late?" "Usually later." Thomas's expression softened. "He is not as cold as he seems, Miss Bennett, just very focused." After Thomas left, Olivia explored her new temporary home. Everything was beautiful and lifeless. No photos, no personal touches, nothing that said a human actually lived here. She found herself missing her cluttered apartment with its mismatched furniture and stacks of books. Her phone buzzed. Rachel had sent a photo of the bookstore with the caption, "First day without you. Place feels empty." Olivia typed back, 6 weeks, then everything goes back to normal." But as she looked around the pristine penthouse, she wondered if normal was even possible anymore. The first cracks. Julian arrived home exactly at 6, as promised. Olivia heard the elevator open and found him in the kitchen, loosening his tie. He looked exhausted, the sharp edges of his face somehow softer in the evening light. "Good, you are here. We need to go over our story before Friday." "Hello to you too." Olivia leaned against the counter. "How was your day?" "Mine was great, thanks for asking." Julian paused, actually looking at her. "You were right, that was rude. How are you settling in?" "Honestly, it's like living in a museum. Beautiful, but kind of lonely." Something flickered in his eyes. "I suppose it is. I do not spend much time here anyway." He pulled out his tablet. "Our story is simple. We met 6 months ago when I visited your bookstore looking for a rare edition. I kept coming back. Eventually, I asked you to dinner. We've been together ever since." "What rare edition?" "Does it matter?" "If someone asks, yes." Olivia crossed her arms. "Details make stories believable." Julian considered this. "Fine. First edition of The Great Gatsby. I collect them." "Do you really?" "I do, actually. I started collecting in college. Something about the story of reinvention appealed to me." Olivia smiled. "See? That's a real detail. That makes you human." "I am always human, Miss Bennett." "Olivia, if we're supposed to be engaged, you should probably use my first name." "Olivia." The way he said it, slow and deliberate, sent an unexpected shiver down her spine. "And you should call me Julian." They spent the next hour going over details, how he proposed, what she said yes, their favorite restaurants, inside jokes, small intimacies that would make their relationship believable. With each invented memory, Olivia felt the line between fiction and reality blur just slightly. "One more thing." Julian stood, moving closer. "At these events, people will expect to see affection. Hand-holding, my arm around you, perhaps a kiss on the cheek." The contract said minimal physical contact. "In private, yes. In public, we need to be convincing." He was close now, close enough that she could smell his cologne, something expensive and clean. "Is that going to be a problem?" Olivia's heart hammered. "No, no problem." "Good." But he did not move away. His gaze dropped to her lips for just a second before he stepped back. "Friday, 7 p.m. Wear the navy dress in your closet." Then he disappeared into his office, leaving Olivia alone with her racing thoughts. The gala. Friday arrived too quickly. Olivia spent the day being pampered and prepped. Her hair was styled in soft waves, makeup applied with expert precision. When she finally put on the navy dress, she barely recognized herself. The woman in the mirror looked elegant, sophisticated, like she belonged in Julian's world. Julian knocked on her door at exactly 7. When she opened it, he went completely still. Is it okay? Olivia smoothed the dress nervously. You look stunning. His voice was lower than usual. He offered his arm. Ready? The gala was overwhelming. Hundreds of people in designer clothes, champagne flowing, classical music filling the grand ballroom. Olivia felt completely out of her depth, but Julian never left her side. His hand rested on the small of her back, steady and warm. Julian, darling, a woman in diamonds approached. You must introduce me to your lovely companion. Mother. Julian's hand tightened slightly on Olivia's back. This is Olivia Bennett, my fiancée. Olivia, this is Catherine Westwood, my mother. Olivia had not known his mother would be here. The woman looked her up and down with sharp eyes. Fiancée? How delightful. And what do you do, Olivia? I own a bookstore. Olivia's bookstore, downtown. A bookstore? How quaint. Catherine's smile did not reach her eyes.
3 weeks into their arrangement, Olivia had memorized the rhythm of Julian's life. He left at 7 each morning, returned at 8 each evening. They attended events twice a week, playing their roles perfectly. To the outside world, they were the ideal couple. Behind closed doors, they maintained careful distance, both terrified of crossing lines they could not uncross. But something had shifted after that rainy night. Julian watched her more carefully now. His touches during public appearances lingered a fraction too long, and Olivia found herself counting the hours until he came home each night, just to see his face. "You look distracted," Rachel said during their weekly video call. "What is going on in Billionaire land?" Olivia sat curled on her bed, phone propped against a pillow. "Nothing. Everything is fine." "Liar, you have that look." "What look?" "The look women get when they are falling for someone they should not be falling for." Rachel's expression turned serious. "Liv, please tell me you are not catching feelings for Julian Westwood." "Of course not. This is business." But even Olivia heard how unconvincing she sounded. "Oh no. Oh, Liv, you know how this ends, right? Contract expires, you go home, he stays in his tower. Do not get your heart broken over a man who bought your time." I know all of that." Olivia pressed her palm against her chest where it ached. "But Rachel, when he looks at me sometimes, I forget this is not real. I forget we are pretending." "Does he feel the same?" "I don't know. He keeps everything so locked down. Except sometimes there are these moments where I see past all his walls, and I think maybe he feels it too." Rachel sighed. "Just be careful. Protect your heart because I doubt he is protecting his." After the call ended, Olivia heard the elevator open. Julian was home early. She found him in the kitchen, tie already loosened, looking at his phone with a dark expression. "Everything okay?" He looked up, and something in his face made her stomach drop. "Victoria is going to be at the charity auction tomorrow night." "Your ex?" "She'll be there with her new fiancé. The entire point of this arrangement was to appear unaffected by her presence." Julian set down his phone. "Are you ready for that?" "Are you?" Olivia moved closer. "You have not talked about her much." "There's nothing to talk about. We were together 2 years. She wanted something I could not give. We ended things." His voice was flat, emotionless. "Tomorrow night, I need you to be especially convincing. Victoria thrives on making people uncomfortable. Then we'll be so convincing she won't know what hit her." Olivia touched his arm. "I've got your back, Julian." He looked down at her hand on his sleeve, then at her face. "Why?" "Why what? Why do you care? This is just a job to you." Olivia's heart hammered. This was the moment. She could lie, keep things safe and distant, or she could tell the truth and risk everything. "Because somewhere between the contract signing and now, you stopped being just a job." Her voice was steady, despite her racing pulse. "You became someone I actually care about." Julian went very still. The air between them felt electric, charged with all the things they had been avoiding saying. "Olivia, we cannot... I know what the contract says. I know what we agreed to." She stepped back, giving him space. But that doesn't change how I feel. Feelings were never part of this arrangement. I know, and after tomorrow, after the auction, I'll go back to keeping my distance. But tonight, I needed you to know." She turned toward her room. "Get some sleep, Julian. Tomorrow is important." She left him standing in the kitchen, and she did not look back. The charity auction. The auction was held at the Grand Belmore Hotel, one of those venues dripping with old money and older traditions. Olivia wore a deep emerald dress that made her feel like royalty. Julian's eyes had darkened when he saw her, but he said nothing beyond a simple compliment. In the car, the silence stretched between them. Finally, Julian spoke. "About what you said last night." "We don't have to talk about it." Olivia kept her gaze on the passing city lights. "I meant what I said about keeping distance after tonight. I won't make this complicated for you." "You already have." His voice was rough. "Since the moment you walked into my life, everything has been complicated." Before Olivia could respond, the car stopped. They had arrived. Julian helped her out, his hand warm and steady on hers. As they walked toward the entrance, he leaned close. "Whatever happens tonight, remember it's just for show." But Olivia wondered if he was reminding her or himself. The ballroom was magnificent. Crystal chandeliers cast golden light over hundreds of guests. Olivia spotted Victoria immediately. Tall, blonde, perfect in every way. She stood with a handsome man, both of them radiating confidence. "There they are," Julian murmured. "Ready?" Olivia laced her fingers through his. "Always." They made their entrance, and Olivia felt every eye turn toward them. Julian's hand settled on her waist, possessive and warm. They moved through the crowd, stopping to chat with various guests. All the while, Olivia was aware of Victoria watching them. Finally, the inevitable confrontation came. "Julian," Victoria's voice was smooth as silk. "How wonderful to see you." Julian, his expression gave nothing away. "This is my fiancée, Olivia Bennett. Olivia, Victoria Hartford and her fiancé, Preston Mills." "Fiancé?" Victoria's perfect eyebrows rose.